Welcome to episode 392 of the show. Before we begin today's episode, I'd like to apologize because today is one of those Daddy Day recordings. My son, the younger one, the baby, came down with a tummy bug over the weekend, and so he's at home with me. And since he's not feeling well, he's in a particularly clingy mode, so I can't run away to another part of the house to make the recording. So you're going to hear sounds from his tab and maybe sounds of him coming up to me to get my attention for one thing or another. And of course, you guys know that I just whip out the phone and start recording, so we'll just take things as they go. So now let's begin. Okay, so now two more topics to go from the Evolve Africa Instagram Live session. Just in case you happen to be tired of hearing about that particular session. But anyway, this is the second to the last question. And of course, so since I was dealing with people that have no sales expertise or very little sales expertise in a theoretical sense, they wanted to know what the sales funnel is and how that makes you some money. So that was the second to the last question that we tackled. So the sales funnel, there are different definitions, different academically correct definitions, but remember that over here on this podcast I don't focus on being academically precise, but I use working man definitions, or rather working person definitions, because I'm trying to get you guys to understand what is at the heart of something, what is at the crux of something, so I don't go by technically correct definitions. So the sales funnel basically just envisions how people move from initial awareness until they get to the stage of buying something. So we know how funnels are. Well, I'm sure the average Nigerian knows what a funnel is, especially since we've just gone through, or rather we're still going through this period of incessant fuel scarcity. So if you bought from black market, then of course you know what a funnel is. So it's wide at the top and then it's narrow at the bottom. But instead of fuel moving through the funnel, we're now envisioning people moving through the funnel. And the start of the funnel is the initial phase. That's where people are initially aware of what it is that you do, because nobody can buy from you until they know who you are or until they are aware about what it is that you do. So the initial initial part of the funnel is just this general sense of awareness. So that's what you will find no matter who you are looking at, whoever it is that is trying to define the funnel or describe what a sales funnel is. So all those initial activities that you take to make people aware of who you are and what it is that you do. Now, the end of the funnel basically is when someone buys something. And the whole process in between is what we call the sales funnel. How do we get people to know who it is that we are and what it is that we do? How do we take people from initial awareness all the way until they buy something? Now, the reason why it's called a funnel, like I said earlier, is because the number of people running through this process tapers off over time. So you might hit your sales and marketing campaigns, your Instagram ads, your whatever it is that you want to run, and maybe 1,000 people see that. But because 1,000 people see that doesn't mean 1,000 people are going to pick up the phone call to say they are interested. So 1,000 people might see that. Let's say you're trying to use content on social media to drive sales. So 1,000 people might see your post on Instagram, your Instagram reel. But of that 1,000, maybe only 500 might subscribe. And of the 500 that subscribe, maybe only 100 might send you DMs to say, what's up, I'm interested, how much? And of the 100 people that say, I am interested, how much, you might have profitable conversations with, let's say, 20. And of the 20 conversations that you have, maybe only 5 people might end up buying. And now if you've done a good job with the economics of what it is that you do, then those 5 people should make more than enough profits to for you to justify the process all over again. But now, using this scenario, we've seen how we have started off with an Instagram reel or some sponsored post that got 1,000 people interested, out of which we got 5 clients. Now, whether this is a good return, we will tackle in later shows, because it varies from according to the product or the service and according to the industry. That's if 1,000 people see what it is that you put out and then you end up getting 5 sales. So that's a separate question on its own, but that basically is the idea. So on one end you have 1,000 people, but on the other end you only have 5 sales. five people buying. So that is what a sales funnel is. So the sales funnel moves from creating massive awareness, and then you have to use call to actions to sort the people out who are interested in buying versus those who are merely curious. Let's see. Okay, call to action. Yeah, I don't think that's a term that I have described before. Now, most people who are newbies when it comes to these sorts of things just put out messaging and then leave it like that. But anybody who has some experience with it or is a professional knows that you have to put call to actions. A call to action is that particular thing that you're asking the person to do, which is what shows whether they are interested or they are just curious. So, in the case of the Instagram reel that we just ran through right now, so you put the Instagram reel, and maybe your call to action might be subscribe at Baby's Wipes NG. Okay, so that's the call to action there. Now, when they subscribe at babyswipes.ng, you might now have another call to action on your Instagram bio, and that might be DM for cost and packages of baby wipes. In this case, let's assume that that's what you do. You sell baby wipes online. So that's the second call to action. And let's see what else. Okay, once they're in a DM. Okay, now once they're in a DM and you're having actual conversations, you can put different call to actions there, different prompts, different scripts, different ideas, so that the people can take the next step. But basically, this is how you filter people through the process. Are you interested? Then follow me or subscribe. Now that you've subscribed, DM for costs or DM if you have inquiries, and then you start working things down the ladder. So that's how you move people through the funnel. Basically, it's all through calls to action. And if you're new to this space, that's something that you definitely should be what's that word? Researching. Yes, it's definitely something that you should be researching so that you see how you can use them in your day-to-day communications, because they're effective not just in awareness campaigns but in one-on-one conversations that you're having with people. Because I've mentioned in the past that that's something that wedding and event industry professionals don't do very well. There's talk about Brides and Babies Wedding Expo coming back into town. And now that they're going to be back, you're going to have photographers who go there and wedding planners who go there and who sit down with their samples, and people will come and you'll have a wonderful conversation, and then they'll just say, okay, thank you very much, enjoy your day, and then they sit back down. There's not been any call to action there. There hasn't been, you haven't made any effort to get them to follow you on social media or to drop their email address or phone number so that you can follow up. I mean, there has to be some kind of call to action, because that's what you're going to use to sort people. So, sort through people rather. So you can't just go through all this time and effort to try and get people interested in what it is that you do, and then you don't have a process for sorting people out. So, so beyond the sales funnel, even in the day-to-day, we also need to have call to actions for what it is that we do. So you're done with that meeting, they've looked at samples, and you think that it was a good meeting and you guys are ready to make the next step. It's something that you should bring up. You should have that call to action. So thanks for sharing up. I'm glad you guys had we had fun. Glad you guys liked the samples. But just to be sure, you guys are interested in samples A, B, and C. Is that correct? And then they say yes. So in this case, I've done something to prompt them along. I've confirmed that there is interest. And let's see what else. Okay, another possible thing that you could say at this kind of stage, after confirming that they're interested in package A, B, and C, and not D, E, and F, the next one will be that, okay, for most clients who are typically interested in working with us, the next step is a payment for the deposit of XYZ amount. Are you guys ready for that? Would you guys be okay with that? Whichever way that you're going to say, use your own verbiage. Like I keep saying, you don't have to use the kind of words that I use, but whatever it is that you would say to move things along in these instances, or rather, in this case, these are instances of how you're using call to actions to move the thing along. So first of all, I've confirmed interest. We've looked at the samples. You guys are interested in A and B and not D and C. They've said correct. And the next thing is, okay, the next step is most of our happiest clients, especially those who pick A, B, and C, the next step for them is a payment for the amount of so and so to confirm the date. Does that make sense to you? Are you guys happy with that? Are you ready to move on to that stage? Some call to action that is going to get the ball rolling, basically. Anyway, this is not the discussion on what call to actions are and what an effective call to action should be. This is just opening you guys up to the idea of a sales funnel. That's in case you happen to be a newbie and you don't know what a sales funnel is. So just remember, it's moving people through different stages of the conversation. You're starting from the initial stage where people are aware of what it is that you do. Just create some general awareness and then use call to actions and then sort people out, because the ultimate aim is to get down to who is serious and ready to buy versus those who are merely curious, because there are some of those people who are going to see the Instagram reel using the baby wax example, and maybe they're just curious, like you're just following because you think you're curious about the idea, or maybe the person is curious about how you're trying to build a new business segment or something like that. They might be curious from an academic standpoint. You need to be able to sort those people out quickly and get down to who it is that is ready to buy baby diapers right now. So, so that's it pretty much. And then after today's recording, just one more, and then we'll be done with the Evolve Africa Instagram topics, and then we'll get back to the regular questions that we have curated for the podcast, and also questions that I get from those of you who are kind enough to give me feedback, or when I run into listeners one-on-one in the flesh. So, where was I? Okay, we've talked about the sales funnel. Okay, now I hope that this has opened up in you guys' minds the need for conversion skills. Now, the idea of conversions is how you move people from one stage to another through the funnel, and of course this is all about call to action. So now you can see why it is really, really, really important, because if you invest time and effort going for the bridal show or putting out that Instagram reel but you don't have a call to action, you're just wasting your time and you're wasting your resources. So that's it for today. That's what a sales funnel is. That is why conversion is important, and this is what a call to action is, because it helps you sort people out from those who are interested and serious versus those who are merely curious. So thank you for listening to today's show. I'm your host, Abuja-based sales and business consultant Tavishima Gingered Up George Ayede, the host of Nigeria's longest running business podcast. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next recording.